Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's a regular meeting of the City Council of Fort Walton Beach on Tuesday, March 26, 2024. If you have a cell phone, if you please turn it off or at least put it on vibrate, that would be very helpful. And then this evening we're pleased to have Reverend Terrence Bolter with us from Greater Peace Missionary Baptist Church. He's going to lead us in the invocation. If you please stand and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Reverend Bolter.
Whisper with me words of prayer. Eternal One, who is alive, awake, altogether lovely, all sapient and almighty, thank you for the blessings you've bestowed to us and strength you supply to us to champion setbacks. As this august assembly sets forth into official proceedings this afternoon, we invoke your divine providence to impart each compartment of our city government with the strategies, sensibilities, sensitivities, synergism, and skills to build a stronger and safer place for our citizens to thrive. For our mayor, council members, administrative staff persons, along with every public servant who lends their time and talents for the betterment of our city, we pray you continue to bless in ways that incentivize impactful work ethic. Raise the awareness within each decision maker present of the sacred trust each holds. As this community and its leaders nourish their assignments, we thank you in advance for flourishing those efforts and thoughtfulness to unprecedented levels of achievement. Direct, protect, and prosper us, we pray. In the life-giving, loving, and liberating name of our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Reverend Bolter. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Council, we would get a motion to approve the agenda.
Mayor, I move for approval of the agenda as presented. Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Allegretto, second by Councilman Jeter to approve the agenda as presented. Any further comment?
No, sir.
Further comment? Council, please vote. Does pass unanimously. Thank you, Council. Ms. Neighbors, would you like to come forward so I can read a proclamation to you and for you?
So it's be your banner.
Thank you. The only bad part of this is I'm late because this was last week. City of Fort Walton Beach, the proclamation. Whereas the Florida Government Finance Officers Association is a professional association founded in 1937 and serves more than 3,300 professionals from state, county, and city governments, school districts and colleges and universities, special districts and private firms. Whereas the FGFOA is dedicated to being your professional resource by providing opportunities through education, networking, leadership, and information. And whereas this Government Finance Professionals Week, sponsored by the FGFOA and all its member governmental organizations, is a week-long series of activities aimed at recognizing government finance professionals and the vital services they provide to our state and our community. Whereas during this week, government finance professionals throughout the state of Florida will be acknowledged for their hard work, dedication, and leadership. That's why I'm a week late. Now therefore I, Dick Rynearson, by virtue of the authority invested in me as mayor of the city of Fort Walton Beach, do hereby proclaim March 18th through the 22nd, 2024 as Government Finance Professionals Week in the city of Fort Walton Beach and extend our appreciation to all government finance professionals throughout the state and especially here at Fort Walton Beach for their hard work, dedication, and leadership. In witness whereof, I hereto set forth my hand. But Nicole, thank you so much to not only you, but your team for keeping us straight.
Can't do it without my team.
Thank you. Want to speak?
No.
He's a number scout.
Thank you, sir. And while I'm up, Stephanie Harrison. Hi, Stephanie. Stephanie's our ACE Award winner for Choctahatchee High School for this month. And I'm going to brag about Stephanie, and then I'm going to give you your certificate. Stephanie is a Choctahatchee High School ACE Award recipient for the month of March. She has a GPA of 4.56 and an SAT score of 1,170. Whew. She is a student of the IB, AP, Honors, and Dual Enrollment programs. Stephanie achieved the Ann T. Mitchell Academic Honors Award and the Most Improved and Valuable Offensive Player Awards on her volleyball team. I see why. She has assisted her school by mentoring and training freshmen, serving on several pumping boards, creating pet rally skits, and painting Choctaw hallway signs. Stephanie has served the community as a pet rescue volunteer, a pause volunteer, a vacation Bible school leader, and a daycare worker at Beachside Community Church. She has work experience as a McAllister's Deli cashier and a sales associate at DeFrance Boutique and Home. She is a member of the National Honor Society, the First Baptist Church Youth Group, the Beachside Community Church Youth Group, and the Link Group. Congratulations, Stephanie, and we look forward to many more achievements, but tell us a little bit about your future plans, please.
I plan to attend Enterprise State Community College in the fall on a volleyball scholarship, and then I plan to transfer to a four-year university to pursue a degree in animal science.
Well, Stephanie, we wish you the very, very best in your future endeavors. But I have the certificate for you, and then there's also a city pin from Fort Walton Beach, so you can put that on whatever clothing you want to when you want to remember you're from Fort Walton Beach, and when you come back, we want you to come back. So thank you so much. Thank you. Emily Abernathy. Hi, Emily. I'm going to brag about you now. Emily is Fort Walton Beach High School's ACE Award recipient for the month of March. She has a GPA of 4.5 and ranks number 10 in her class. Emily's academic awards include being a Viking Scholar, an Ann T. Mitchell Academic Honors Award winner, a Taylor Houghton Award winner, and recognitions as an outstanding freshman, outstanding sophomore, and Hall of Fame winner from Fort Walton Beach High School. Emily is captain of the Fort Walton Beach Stars dance team and has received awards for Best Attitude and All-American from the organization. Emily also has a hand in the First Baptist Church Choir, youth group, and youth worship. She has participated in the mission trip to Belgium. Wow. Emily has contributed to the community by being a Vacation Bible School kindergarten leader, a Christmas Connections group leader, a First Baptist Church pre-K leader, a Fort Walton Beach High School softball volunteer, and an Edwards Elementary kindergarten aide, and a Silver Sands prom volunteer. That had to have been fun. Emily is also the class president of the Fort Walton Beach High School Leadership Program, a member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, the Lady Vikings, and the National Honor Society. We congratulate Emily on her achievements, and I wish you the very, very best in the future. And now, would you tell us a little bit about your future plans?
Yes. I plan to attend Auburn University and pursue a degree in speech pathology.
Fantastic. And we wish you the very best in all your future endeavors. And then come back and see us. Well, that was a fun part. Now we're down to item 7, consent agenda. We can get a motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Jeter and seconded by Councilman Smith to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further comment?
No, sir.
Comment? Council, please vote. Does pass unanimously. Thank you, Council. Brings us to item 8, Mayor and Council comments. And we're going to begin this evening with Councilman Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I only have one thing that I thought of from last meeting here for you, I believe. Seeing Kimberly Horn, which we did that spend last meeting, And then I was looking through some of my notes and I saw them referenced again on that Ferry Park traffic study that was done back in October. And I think it looked like there was some that preceded it. Do you know the cost of that contract for them on that traffic study, or do you recall about?
Do you remember that, Danny? I don't remember the dollar. I remember looking.
Yeah, and I'm just curious.
I want to say it was between 60 and 70.
Okay, and I was just
I mean,
curious.
but I'm not, 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's.
The notes I looked through I didn't see anything there on it. And then really my question was, out of that study, that 60, 70, or whatever it turns out to be, Daniel, I guess while you're here, maybe you'd be the best one to answer it. What action items came out of that have resulted in, what did we get out of that?
Yeah, so there's well, first of all, trying to condense this as best I can.
Sure.
Residential, right, traffic study, to go over a lot of the petitions and stuff that we've gotten. And there's short-term, mid-term, and long-term improvement options in there on that side. Short-term being like stuff maybe we could handle in our current operating, mid-term being stuff like we would have to budget like probably the following year because we didn't have enough funds. And then long-term being like something substantial, like capital-wise or legislative, something like that, which we put in for the Hollywood, like a road dye reconstruction of a Hollywood design, stuff like that. We can send you the.
Yeah, I was just curious if we had any action items that have actually been implemented from those recommendations.
Sure.
In the Hollywood you're talking about, is that the roundabout that's going to be there? And
It was, yeah, basically the traffic data, right, the background data, like, because we all could say, I think we've all said, hey, driving down Hollywood east to Eglin, do you need 4 lanes? I think we all kind of common sense wise, don't think you, but the actual data shows that you don't need 4 lanes. That's in there. Some of those short-term improvements, like what have we done? Like we swapped out school zone signs for lower stuff on there. There's some other things we've done. We've identified segments that actually did have speeding issues that we feel, ones that we get all the time, or which don't. We could probably spend a whole time in here, but how about I send it to you or everyone?
yeah, I'd like to see it. Again, their name caught my attention. I mean, we spent
Sure.
some money with them, and I was looking for the results.
Yes.
I know we're going to be looking for results on their next study for the downtown, so I was
Right.
curious what we could expect.
Previously, before that, we did the Kenwood one, and then Lewis Turner.
And did your recollection, did that cost include all aspects of the studies, or was the 60 specifically for the Ferry Park study?
For Ferry Park.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Before you sit down, I believe that you're going to do a traffic study over in the Oakland Heights there. It's called.
Yeah, I think the next one we kind of had programmed out, budget-wise, was a northwest neighborhood, which would be, I do believe, like Jet to be outside.
Do you know about when that's going to take place?
It didn't make it in this year's budget, but maybe next year's budget on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
In that study, yeah. Thanks. Can you confirm, was it that area right outside the gas station? That's one of the most dangerous intersections in the city as far as wrecks goes, and
Yeah,
fatalities as well. Right?
Ferry and Hollywood, I think.
Yes, sir.
Got
Yes,
two.
yes, sir, Ferry and Hollywood.
Yes, there was crash data. There was substantial amount of crash rates. I think. Gee, because it here.
17 in 5 years is what I saw. I had looked at that.
And Mr. Mayor, as well as too, can you confirm, I don't think we got that legislative funding from the state,
Yeah,
correct?
we submitted it along with a few others, and that did not make it through the list. The one that did was Anchors Hill.
So I guess where I'm kind of backing into this, I'd like to kind of lobby for, as we prepare this budget cycle, what we can do, with kind of piggyback off of some action items as we prepare for Councilman Walker's action items. whether it's short-term, mid-term, long-range. I know we have the Kenwood. I know we're lobbying for the Oakland Heights as well, but I know we've completed the Ferry Park as well. But a lot of cyclists, a lot of movement, a lot of e-bikes, a lot of golf carts, and we already have data that shows it's a very dangerous intersection. I'd like for us to, in this upcoming budget year, see what we can do. I know we tried to lobby for that legislative funding, we didn't get it, but still moving forward with what we can do in our budget to try to improve the safety of that Ferry Park in Hollywood, as well as some other enhancements. Like you mentioned,
Yes, sir.
do we need 4 lanes? You know, what that would do cost-wise and all that.
Yeah, so I think that, to feedback off your statement, I think our first swing was at the legislative funding. That didn't look like it worked out, so we'll program it part of the budget process on that side as what was the backup was, and as well as some of those other midterm improvements that were identified in there.
I know with legislative funding, we've gotten a lot more enhancements, but from a safety standpoint, from the Ferry Park in Hollywood, as well as some multi-use or different
Yes.
paths and those kind of safety enhancements. So thank you.
Yeah, those will be part of our capital improvements.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Allegretto.
Nothing on that.
Okay. Mr. Berry.
Yes, I have some questions. I was talking to the military this morning, by the way, that the economic development was very, very interesting. And I was talking to Colonel Bessie, I can't remember her last name, about reservation orphan land. And I would like to see us look into, not right away, but look into annexing more land into Fort Walton. Lewis Turner, over by, that area there, and bringing it over into us. So I've requested that she send us a list of, I like that term, orphan land.
I can give it to you.
Oh, you have it?
I've got it on a map as well.
Okay, oh, I like that. Good, because I'm going to be pushing for that. Okay, thank you very much. And let's see. And I'd like to be able to have workforce housing over there to help. Yeah. And what else was I going to do? Oh, that's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Jeter.
Yes, sir. I'd like to echo Councilman Schmidt's comments about the Ferry Road in Hollywood. Put that up there, have sales tax, infrastructure, whatever we got to do. It's important wherever the funding comes from. And then Chief Page, excited about the e-bikes. Apologize for missing last meeting. Had I known we were going to be unveiling e-bikes, I'd have rescheduled. But I'm excited. I've heard nothing but great things about them. I'm excited to see them on the road. So thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Mr. B.
I'd love to be copied on that report as well. I don't think I've seen that one. And another one that came from a long time ago that I'd like for us to consider. We had a study, the city didn't pay for it as I recall, it was a grant, but it had to do with the intersection of Beale Parkway where it intersects with Walter Martin and Industrial. One of their main pushes was for us to implement some sort of cones, if you will, that were in the double stripe lines. If you're heading south, then it would be on your left side if you're in the turn lane turning onto Walter Martin. The problem is trucks turn into Industrial and off of Industrial through that double line, and it creates there's a real traffic problem, and it doesn't, if it's within the city's ability, I don't think it would be a great expense to put a number of cones to keep this, I don't know if illegal is a good word for it, but crossing the double line where you shouldn't be crossing it. That was one of the recommendations. Maybe we could look at that as a city. I don't think it'd be a big expense, but I think it would create a lot of enhanced safety. So we could think about that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Schmidt.
Yes, I'd like for us to add on the April 23rd agenda what our goals or objectives would be for a fire consolidation study.
Mr. Smith.
Good, Mayor.
Okay. And I'm going to reserve mine until the very end. I've got a couple of comments when the whole plan on. So that brings us to item number 9, public comments. This is time for anyone in the audience to come forward with anything that's not on the agenda, and please limit your presentation to 5 minutes or less. Anyone wish to speak? Yes,
Good
ma'am.
afternoon, Mayor Ron Councilman, Councilwoman. My name is Debbie Rowland, on Acts 27 Holmes Manor Court, Fort Walton Beach. I know this is not on the agenda, but I was a little late coming to the workshop prior, but I was here for long enough to get adjusted to things. And one thing that I wanted to mention, and don't know for sure because you possibly could already have someone that's doing grant search for government search for state and local municipalities for renovating and bringing your building up to par, because there's so many local municipalities and government buildings that need repairs and renovations. But there is monies that are out there and available. So maybe, I don't know if you have a staff or something that maybe they can go on and research the governmental fundings for grants to help with the, with the renovation. And City Hall will be, really, I think, something wonderful to be able to, renovate the City Hall or build a new City Hall. The auditorium, that would be just an added enhancement. But I do believe that there's some really good fundings that are available. It's just a matter of, researching it, and maybe the staff would have enough time. I don't even mind looking myself, if there's anything that's available to kind of help out with the funding part of things. Other thing too, I was thinking about Brownsville, and also looking at the downtown area. There's a couple of incidents that, I think that happened with a couple of the buildings that you might be able to designate a Brownsville area. Lots of fundings, lots of tax incentives that are available. So I'm just throwing that out, Food for thought. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wish to speak? Items not on the agenda. All right. Seeing none, we'll go to item 10, ordinances on second reading. Ordinance 10.1, 2139, ordinance amending the Land Development Code, Chapter 5, supplemental standards for townhouses. Ms. Cobb.
This is ordinance 2139, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Fort Walton Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 5 of the Land Development Code for supplemental standards for townhouses, providing for authority, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This is second reading.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Tim Gibson, planning supervisor for the city. This is on second reading, so you've heard it before, but I'll just real quickly cover it again. This is just to change chapter 5.4.2 of the Land Development Code. It's really just to kind of clarify a few things that are in there for our townhouse developments. The code does specifically say there's certain items that will follow the zoning of the property, but everything else is outlined in that section of the code for townhouses. And one of the things it says is outlined in there is the setback standards for them. Currently in the code, there is no front or rear setback standard listed for them. So realistically, they could build right up on a front property line or rear property line and still be in compliance with the code in there. Staff for that one has just looked at some other surrounding areas to kind of figure out what everyone else is doing around there, as well as some of the recent developments and ones we have in the plans right now. That's why we landed on the 20-foot front setback and 10-foot rear setback. The other part of this to update was just to provide for some standards for a driveway for the ones on the intersection. We did just update the land development code for all driveways on intersections and stuff, but with the townhomes being much smaller lots, we had to write some specific language for those in there, and that's why we came up with the 50% of the lot width, but no less than 15 foot for those side property lines. There had been no change to this to the language in this since the last reading, and with that, staff respectfully recommends the City Council adoption of ordinance 2139 to amend the Land Development Code, Chapter 5, to amend supplemental standards for townhomes.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from council for Mr. Gibson? Anyone from the public wish to comment? Council, may we get a motion?
Mayor, I move ordinance 2139 for approval.
Second.
Was that David? Okay. It's been moved by Councilman Allegretto and seconded by Councilman Schmidt to approve 2139, an ordinance amending the Land Development Code, Chapter 5, supplemental standards for townhouses. Further comments? Comments?
Keep bringing these amendments to the LDC that make it better and easier to build here. So that.
Thank you. Council, please vote. Does pass unanimously. Thank you, council. Brings us to item 11, appointments. 11.1, Fort Walton Beach Housing Authority Board appointments. Ms. Barnes.
Thank you, Mayor. The Housing Authority Board has two positions whose terms expired on February the 28th. The two citizens in those positions were Reverend Earl Tyler and Mr. Austin Thompson. And at the past, one of the previous meetings, you all had requested that Ms. Sansberry make recommendations to you. So she has submitted a recommendation to reappoint those two members to the board. Reverend Tyler for his history, community leadership, and background in personnel, and Mr. Thompson for his architectural skills to assist with the ongoing development project. So based on Ms. Sansberry's recommendation, staff respectfully recommends the mayor, with the approval of City Council, reappoint Reverend Tyler and Mr. Thompson to the Fort Walton Beach Housing Authority Board to serve another 4-year term to expire February the 28th, 2028. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Barnes? Can we get a motion from council to reappoint these gentlemen?
Motion to reappoint Reverend Earl Tyler and Mr. Austin Thompson to the Housing Authority Board.
Second.
Mr. Berry beat you to it.
Keep it going.
Moved by Councilman Junior, second by Councilwoman DeBerry to approve the appointments of Reverend Earl Tyler and Mr. Austin Thompson to the Fort Walton Beach Housing Authority to serve 4-year terms. Further comment? Mr. Allegretto?
Just very quickly, I wanted to recognize Ms. Sansberry and also the city staff just working together to get these type of recommendations. Her involvement in the process, I think, is nothing but great. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Other comments? Council, please vote. Does pass unanimously. Thank you, council. Item 11.2, Firefighters Retirement Fund Board appointment. Ms. Barnes.
Thank you, Mayor. On January the 9th, council appointed a citizen to fill a position on the Firefighters Retirement Fund Board, but she submitted a letter of resignation on February the 7th due to medical reasons and moving outside the city limits. So we have a vacant position on that board, and the following applications were received to fill it, and also Ms. Tucker did do advertising on our Facebook page for vacancies that ran probably 8 to 10 days. And we received 3 applications, Ms. Amy Jameson, Merlin Johnson, and Brandon Bishop. So with that, staff respectfully recommends City Council appointment of one citizen as a resident member to the city's Firefighters Retirement Fund Board to serve a 4-year term to expire December 31st, 2027. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Any questions from council? If not, can we get a recommendation or a nomination for one of those 3?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to nominate Mr. Brandon Bishop.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved by Councilman Schmidt, seconded by Councilman Jeter to appoint Brandon Bishop to the Firefighters Retirement Fund Board. Further comment?
No, sir.
Comments? Council, please vote. Does pass unanimously. Thank you, council. Mayor Pro Tem, currently filled by Mr. Allegretto. Mr. Allegretto has volunteered to serve again, and I'd like somebody to nominate him for that position.
I will nominate him. Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Meade and seconded by Councilman Jeter.
I do have a comment. He is my second favorite mayor.
Well, to appoint, and you're saying to appoint Mr. Allegretto as Mayor Pro Tem. Council, please vote. Oh, go ahead. Does pass unanimously. Thank you, and Nick, thank you very much for filling in when I'm missing in action. Thank you. Community Redevelopment Agency, the CRA chair, currently filled by Councilman Schmidt. He's volunteered to serve again. All we need to do is elect him.
I nominate David Schmidt as the Community Redevelopment Agency Chair.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Allegretto and seconded by Councilwoman DeBerry to appoint David Schmidt as our CRA chair. Further comment? Comment?
Yeah, I appreciate the motion, appreciate the support. Let's keep making moves in CRA. Thank you all.
Very good. Council, please vote. Does pass unanimously. Thank you, council. Brings us to item 11.5, Community Redevelopment Agency, the CRA vice chair. Currently filled by Mr. Jeter. He's volunteered to serve again. We just need to appoint him to that position.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to nominate Mr. Bryce Jeter as our CRA Vice Chair.
Second. Been moved by Councilman Schmidt, seconded by Councilwoman DeBerry to reappoint Mr. Jeter to the CRA Vice Chair. Further comment?
Sir.
Comment? Council, please vote. This passed unanimously. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mr. Jeter. Action, direction, discussion. Item 12.1, authorization to award the library mural project to Christiana Custom Art. Mr. Peters.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, as you recall, we brought this forward a few meetings ago with the design on there. We had 18 submittals. This was a direction that we brought forward in December. Christina brought forward was a 5-wall mural that had inset 3D library books, and that was unique to our area. The $20 cost per square foot is pretty common amongst those types of projects. And talking to a few of you over the last few days, that this is not she hasn't purchased the paint yet. So if there's any changes, some more color, some of you mentioned maybe making a few changes in there, we definitely can do. We'll sit down with Christina and get some of the kinks worked out and get our final product and get going on that. But we did receive $75,000 in funding from the TDC in 22-23, and this total project cost is $53,000, and funding is available in that account.
All right, thank you, sir. Any further questions for Mr. Peters? If not, maybe we can get anyone from the public who better comment? If not, can we get a motion?
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
First off, I gotta say that the artwork is pretty amazing. The only thing that throws me off a little bit is I don't know if maybe I misunderstood or maybe I didn't convey enough. I thought the idea was, and I don't know if the artist is here, but I don't know if it's the same idea that this presents, was to make this wall some sort of a landmark where people could come and take pictures, and doing 5 panels, trying to make it a landmark where somebody can, where we're trying to draw a traffic and crowd into to where that they can take pictures. I don't know, just, it doesn't seem like maybe that's feasible. And like I said, I guess my understanding is us painting the wall is to make it a destination for people to want to come and take pictures. And I guess I envision most of those that I see kind of in a little smaller format and not such a big format. I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me I'm completely wrong on this, but that was just kind of where my thinking was on this. Now again, I think this artwork is amazing. I don't know if I'm off base or if we were kind of all under the same assumption or what.
I know that it's going to be backstage drop of the stages is it going to be a performance area out from it? I know there's going to be shades and
a smaller one. It's more of an open, it will be an open green grass, trees, some benches, and a smaller stage,
Will there be it seems like I remember seeing the designs, were there the shades?
Yeah, there were
the
some
sun
designs.
shades or whatever they're called. I didn't remember anything.
And this is one of the, this is really, there is one on the back of the movie theater that is complete with the movies. There's a few walls, there's one on the side of the Heritage Park and Cultural Center behind the new addition that we plan to do some artwork on too. So this isn't the only wall that will do this. When it was, I think we kind of got a few different ideas of maybe doing individual ones or one big mural together. And again, she hasn't purchased the paint. It was something that she submitted, and her, just the creativity was outstanding. And she's done some murals in the one over there on Ms. Valerie Wenzel's building with the. Yeah. But anyway, has done some others in town, so we can definitely. A couple of you said maybe get some colors and some stuff in that. But there are other walls in Fort Walton Beach that we can do some things like that as well too.
My recollection is kind of the same, where we were having 5 different pieces and, you know, it would be, this is beautiful, I agree, but add slightly different, something different in my head as well, that it would be kind of those standalone pieces like you're saying you could be in front of, and it would, I think this looks great as well.
Go ahead. Yes, I'm with Councilman Smith, and we did talk about it more. That's the number one thing I've heard from this is maybe a little more color, one place to take a picture, but I also don't want to do like, when we had this discussion last night, it was Councilman Alfredo that said we don't need to be up here picking apart people's art, and I certainly don't want to do that because I know that the bookshelves are lined up with the columns on that building, so I think the design is awesome of it, and she does great work, but those are the number two things that I've heard is maybe more color, and where do kids coming into downtown Fort Walton Beach say, oh, Mom and Dad, look, that's awesome, I want to go take a picture in front of that wall. Where's that awesome color?
In front of the sand bucket, there's a sand bucket right there. It's red. It's a colored sand bucket.
Again, I know it can all be tweaked, we've already discussed that, so I definitely, I love it, and I know it can be tweaked, and I look forward to just some small tweaks to it. But
She's definitely a lot more creative and artistic than me, but I will present this to her and say, hey, can you get some, what do you think? And let her.
I don't want to pick it apart for color or anything like that. I'm just talking from my interpretation of what we're trying to accomplish down there and making it a destination for where people want to come down there. They take their pictures, they do the hashtags, they do the Instagram stuff and everything like that. I just see that this being, 5 big panels, that doesn't, I believe, achieve what I think my understanding was this artwork was just to draw the people down there so they could interact with it. And in that sense, I'm sure this will draw people down there regardless, because I mean I'm just thinking how big that wall is, and I mean this is very detailed and great. I guess, like I said, my understanding was maybe smaller pieces that people could come down and get their pictures taken with and stuff like that. And I don't know. I see that being hard, being as big as it is, because you'd have to stand in his lobby to be able to get everything in the picture.
Remember when we talked about it, in my recollection of it at the end was that we're going to kind of send it over to the Cultural Arts League and those people who submitted it and kind of let the best rise to the top. I'm assuming that based on the group of artists who looked at it, compared to the alternatives to what were available, which whether it was, kind of 5 independent, because I liked that for the money side of it. I liked 5 individual artists. I thought that we might be able to get one artist could do one for really cheap, but maybe if they wanted to have to leave their mark, but I think we left it up to the artist group to sort through all of the submissions and say that would be great for the side of the library. And I know her personally as well, and she's a great artist, and whatever she's assigned, she'll knock it out, I'm sure.
Mr. Schmidt.
I think it's awesome that the council is really interested in this. This is going to be good. But yeah, just to kind of add that same ingredient. This designer is going to do amazing things with the final product, but that QR code splash, I know we're all going to QR codes, and just the amount of organic advertisement that we can bring to this community. Yeah, a little bit of color, a little bit of QR code. I know our branding with 365, FWB 365, if we're really vested into it, let's continue to promote that, continue to brand that somewhere inside of this. But all in all, it looks great. I think it's awesome that the 7 of us are really excited about getting this product up on the side of the library.
Mr. Allegretto.
I also would say that I think a lot of you brought really good points. Mr. Walker said about the sand bucket being colored. Mr. Smith was bringing up taking pictures in front of it, etc. I think each one of those windows does have some colorful aspects, other than the awful inclusion of boiled peanuts, which are disgusting, as we all know.
I'm not a point of order.
Other than that, like the American flag and the last one, the bow legs hat, those are all great. And all the kids and their families would love to take photos in front of all of them, other than that one. So that would be my only place that we could really include some color and some fun stuff, was just to get rid of that disgusting script. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll contact Christina and let her know. And again, she's way more artistic than myself, so I'll let her know and let her
And Jeff, I know this is a small item in the grand schemes of our budget, but if it helps support you any, feel free to loop any of us in with the designer as well, so that when this is up against the wall, we're supporting you in the direction that we're ultimately going, so that we can get you the feedback that you need to give you clarity, so.
All right, thank you.
I think what she did on the side of Valerie's building like that for like one window would be great, because that's like something you can go in front of. I mean, I got salesmen driving over there consistently, taking their used vehicles, taking pictures of it. They also do it, you know, before they tore the side of the Brooks Bridge off over there. I mean, I think that art destination, like every time the interaction that a salesman goes and takes a picture with a vehicle next to those stuff, it drives the interaction on those posts up and people enjoy it. So that's why I feel like, you know, something that we can make a destination where people can come in and take a picture of it and, you know, basically free advertising and drawing a interaction or something like that is only going to continue to help bring awareness to our downtown. Oh, where is that? I want to go see that. I want to go get my picture taken with that.
You know what we also could do too, because we're doing the land lease with from the Gibson family on that whole park, and they own the building just to the north of that, and it's got a big bare white wall. I'll contact them, and there's green space right in front of that that's not in front of a little performance stage. Maybe that's the picture taking thing, and now we got the library wall here, and here's our photo op here. And that may be just an idea.
Travis was talking about cars and trucks. I mean, on that building there, if you could do like a house and then a sign that says, buy and sell houses here, point an arrow across the street. I mean, that'll draw some action.
Anyone from the public wish to comment? Council, may we get a motion?
Motion to award the bid to Christina Custom Art in the amount of $53,000 for the exterior building here. Second.
Was that an Allegretto second? It was. Okay. It's been moved by Councilman Jeter, seconded by Councilman Allegretto to award $53,000 to Christina Custom Art to complete the library mural project. Any further comment?
Sounds like she's got a lot of pressure on her.
It does.
Paint that wall.
Council, please.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Are we talking about this specific art or just whatever she comes up with based off of further input from council?
Are we will we see it again?
Yes, it would be the amount. It's the price per square foot, and that wall includes the $20 per square foot. I'll talk with her, and I'll talk to each one of you.
So final decision on the art is not what is included in this motion?
No, I think we all want to see it.
It's awarded to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or we're going to go back to the committee, forming a committee that we were all two.
I don't want to do that either.
Council, please vote. Does pass unanimously. Thank you, Council. That brings us to item 13, City Manager reports. Mr. Peters.
Thank you, Mayor. As you know, we've got we've got 2 council meetings in April and 1 workshop in the middle. We've got a 9th and 23rd council meetings, and the 16th would be at 8 a.m. And we'll get more information out for that meeting. Moving forward, we'll do that over. We're still doing that in the annex. Yeah, at the annex at 8 a.m. and we'll have breakfast, donuts, something like that, and it'll be an update of the council priorities, just to kind of give a little bit of time for each one of them. Vagrancy, expansion of recreation facilities, all of those we'll list out. We'll send an updated list of what we'll discuss, and it'll be kind of a question answer, new ideas, what's worked, what hasn't worked, what we want to try as we're moving forward. So we'll get more information as we got it. And one last thing, this is the updates from new hires. We did hire 7 new hires this past month, 3 in Public Works, 2 Recreation, 1 Police, and 1 Finance.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, sir. Ms. Cobb.
Thank you, Mayor. At the last meeting, you had asked me to give you a little more information on your past motion regarding the workforce housing incentive funding options. So just as a reminder, that motion at that meeting was to fund the 2 smaller projects, which were the Greater Peace Missionary Baptist Church and UM Development. Was to fund those 2 smaller projects at $75,000 per unit, and then the remaining money, which was $626,291, would go to the Housing Authority. So that motion was not to approve the projects, it was just to deal with the funding. And when you looked at it, there had been 3 options, and you pretty much went with that third option, which was $75,000 per unit for projects of under 20 units, and then you modified it slightly and just gave the remaining money to the Housing Authority. So that was what you had decided, and if you wanted to stand by that motion, you wouldn't have to do anything further. I've had a couple of council members ask questions about that decision, so if any of you want to relook at it, you could, at this meeting, direct us to put a motion on a future agenda to rescind that and modify it however you wanted to do it, or you can just leave it the way it is.
Thank you. Mr. Alexander.
Ms. Cobb, legally, we're okay with that?
Legally, you are perfectly fine with the motion as it was.
I'm good. Thank you.
Anybody? Mr. B.
Does the motion still require them to comply with all of the workforce housing requirements that was set forth in staff's backup? In that, I mean, were we simply granting money to people, or were we granting workforce housing pursuant to those requirements, which included the, the forgivable loan and
So that was not a part of the motion, and I think that's why I've been questioned about if you could rescind and relook at it to make those clarifications. You can. That wasn't specific to the motion. I think staff would probably take any directive council would give with respect to that without rescinding the motion if you just wanted to look at that as well.
Because at least speaking for myself, my intent was to fund a workforce housing project. And so I know, at least speaking for myself, that if we fund that, it needs to stay a workforce housing project and not, become something other than being for the workforce housing,
It wasn't specific to the motion, but I think community development staff would
they've
put
got
those
qualified.
restrictions.
Tim can give you a little.
So part of the process in the land development code has the requirement in there that there be a development agreement in order to qualify for the funding. In that development agreement, that's where we would spell out all those requirements for the length of time, how many units, all of that sort of stuff that's in there. All 3 of those have applied for a development agreement, but there just wasn't enough information in those development agreements right now to actually bring them before City Council. There will be a major development order. As you know, you've seen a few of those come through for certain reasons. A public-private partnership, something like this, that requires a development agreement, requires it to be a major development order. So the actual development order showing what's going to be built, how it's going to be built, where it's going to be built, all the site plans and everything, that's going to come before City Council for your approval, as well as the development agreement that's going to outline what money they're going to get, how it's going to be done, the length of that. We'll even have some schedules in there for when they're going to get the developments done and everything out there. So the details of all that are required to be spelled out in that development agreement that will come back before council.
Okay. So the requirements that were in your backup will be in the development agreement?
That's correct.
The use restrictions, all this?
Yes.
That chart we were, Mr. Mayor, that chart we were looking at and discussing that night with those 3 different, and I hadn't thought of that, what you were talking about there, but it was all related to workforce housing money allowances or allocations were based on that. So, I don't want to say I was assuming, but apparently I assumed, and that's what they're going to do, is make it, those monies only allowable to those who are doing workforce housing, not to just a private builder building.
Yeah, that's why in the beginning I specified it was for the funding, not the development. You still would have to approve the development in order for the development to happen. But the requirements for the development were not part of the motion. So when those development orders come to you, staff will put in those development orders what the code requires plus what is appropriate on the sites, subject to council approval. So there was not direction to the specifics that would go in the development orders at that time, and it wouldn't have been appropriate because you don't have the applications before you, and you did not have them at that time.
And I don't think I could use that money because council specifically directed through that resolution for it to have to be for workforce housing. So I don't think I could even use it for anything else.
All right, thank you. All right, now I'm down to mayor council final comments. So we'll go one more round. Anybody got seconds? Mr. Allegretto.
So, sorry, man, just having I know that every year, and I'm just kind of throwing this out there, Jeff, and I don't think Tiffany's here, but we have a plan every year of what we're going to do with certain parks and how much money is going into that, you know, for different equipment, et cetera, at the parks, and I know that we try to keep up with that as good as possible. I know that we've also installed a couple of those bathroom units at Ferry Park over at Kenwood by the pickleball courts, and those are great, and they look fantastic. People have been so pleased with them. I would love to know and just get this information, you know, to me in an email or however, but Chester Pruitt Park, I feel, could really use not only one of those bathroom units, but also just some park upgrades as far as the whole layout of the park there goes. It is a beautiful park, but it definitely, that bathroom there is probably one of the worst places that you'd ever want to be in the city. And I understand it's a park bathroom, and park bathrooms get gross, but man, I could really use a nice new one. And then I would love to know, you know, what kind of time frame we're on and what kind of money could be allocated to that, if there's any grant funding for that, et cetera. But because that park, as I said, is a beautiful park, but it could really use some upgrades and some repair on some things. I'm certainly not saying that anyone's been, you know, derelict in mowing the grass over there and keeping up with things. It just, it's right there. It's a beautiful park right in the middle of our city, and could really use some.
We've got, we're actually doing a legacy walk of fame there. There's some bricks in the north eastern corner that are kind of busted up. We've ordered, it was 122 bricks. Some are 4x8, some are 8x8. We've ordered them. They're in already. They're in the warehouse. We're having those installed this week on the walkway. And another contractor is building a 6 foot by 5 foot tall wall, brick wall, and Cebu and Lewis and Lewis Jennings have ordered some plaques and stuff that are going on. So it's kind of a city partnership with the NAACP, and we're doing ribbon cutting on the 13th of April. I'll get more information to you guys on that.
I remember asking about that not that long ago, and you took care of it almost right away.
It'll be nice. It's on the northeast corner.
That's fantastic. So I just, you know, any more attention we can pay to that park, I'm just advocating for that. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Schmidt?
My regular status update on the landing. Just wanted to see where we're at with phase 1 and solicitations for phase 2.
Yeah, so phase 1's going good. They're getting all the waterfront stuff. Obviously, is phase 1 for just as an update for everybody with the boardwalk, the seawall. Phase 2 will include the performance stage and then the kind of the tiered seating leaning down towards that. We are scheduled to open that Thursday. We did have some questions from some proposed bidders on questions that possibly could bump it back a week so we get more bidders on it. So we're kind of determining that today. I got some emails today on that. So it will either be open this Thursday or next Thursday.
When is phase 1 supposed to be, or when is phase 1 going to be closed out?
That'll be scheduled to be done in first part of May.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the second phase would be, the main part of that would be the stage. And that'll obviously come to council when the bids come in. We'll bring that forward with the drawing design and the bid amount, which we carry a $500,000 grant from the TDC for some of that stage. It's an expensive amenity, but that goes towards that.
Is the seawall kind of the biggest holdup with our phase 1 closeout?
The seawall's done, the boardwalk's tying back in. Some of the changes that we made tied in with Indianola because we have a right of way for Indianola from that pathway leading up through the back of the park. That's complete. It's really just kind of put the finishing touches on that. They had to pour a bunch of aggregate rock in there and the tiebacks from the seawall and the dock, the T-dock on the west side. When it was originally bid out, the pilings were in good shape. Now they're rotted, so we have to replace all of those to complete dock. And then the dock on the east side has to be raised about 20 inches.
Okay.
Just a portion of it.
And also too, I know we had our CRA meeting recently, but just want to continue to highlight the emphasis on that sound park evaluation, as well as our SEPTED conversation, and kind of piggyback on Mr. Allegretto. You know, I know we use the phrase lighting it up a lot, you know, during the CRA, but I know we had some specific motion and tasks to do the sound park evaluation, but as well as too, we had some conversations in the CRA meeting about some funding available still in the SEPTED. There's some very good conversation over some of the challenges, and rightfully so, staff has to have someone certified in SEPTED, whatever we can do to kind of not only speed up the sound park, but as we expand that scope to Ferry Park and to Chester Pruitt, because I know that's city assets, but like for an example, Chester Pruitt, you know, there's a huge parking lot across the street at Beulah, you know, and there's some money in our CRA budget, I believe we discussed in our CRA meeting last time, not just the city assets, SEPTED funding that we already have set aside for projects, but some SEPTED funding and grants available for, let's call it, in this sake, the private parcel owners, and how if those enhancements that Allegretto's, you know, advocating for, if we can kind of complement and mirror any type of SEPTED grants or anything, let's say for an example, Beulah's parking lot may get, while we're also doing the Chester, and kind of, you know, where it's unified and we're adding some more light to a blighted area.
Any other? Mr. Berry?
I have 3 points here. Number one, I spoke to you earlier this morning about the Heritage Park, Chris Gibson plaque. I want it on record though.
Oh.
Okay. Just without her picture, she just wants it. I knew Chris, and
I believe that was in the scope anyway, work for the contractor. I'll make sure it
yeah,
happens.
and just Chris Gibson, not the Gibson family, because this was her property.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And then to piggyback on what Ms. Riley spoke about, and I looked it up, and there's municipality grants for city halls and all that. You know, I'm a grant person, so go look it up, because the money is there, just like that fire truck. There was grant money there. Irrigation for the Gulf, there's money there. So I'm asking you to really work hard to look for that, because the money is available. Thank you, Ms. Riley. And then could you expand on the improvements over at Jet Drive, the pickleball? Let me tell you. We were talking about this thing, Nick. He mentioned sidewalks and some other amenities. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, the foundation was actually put down this week for the bathroom that's coming in. Hopefully we have that in June. There is a sidewalk that'll connect the asphalt parking lot across the front of the pickleball courts and then angle back up to the bathroom. And I know some of the pickleball players have been hitting you up on it. But that's something that Jerry Gunn, one of Daniel's guys, that was his idea. And thought it would be a great addition, and we all agreed. So that's something that they'll do after the bathroom's in place and everything like that.
And also lighting. Did you over the courts, solar?
Yeah, we're actually looking at solar court lighting now. The videos that we've gotten had some kind of negative darkened corners. So solar court lighting, and they're about the same cost as the LED lights. The lights that we have in the tennis complex in Ferry are LED, and they shine right on the court, and it doesn't lose any light in the sky. And those are LED, and they're really, really bright. The solar lights that we're getting, and we've gotten a lot. Alan, one of Daniel's guys, has gotten a lot of quotes in for those, and they don't throw the light out that you would want on a sports court. But perfect for parks like at the library park and some things that we definitely can look into doing there. But the sports courts, they gotta be pretty lit up to be able to see. We don't want to invest $30,000 in lights and then people complain you can't see. So, but LED is a very cost-effective option rather than those halogen ones. Okay. But yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Let me say, since our last meeting, I've had some discussions with Mark Reichert from the MPOAC and with Austin Mount from the ECRC. The subject was, how do we enhance our position on the Around the Mound project?
There are some things we can do. I'm putting together a data package which I'll submit to everybody on the council, and I hope to get it on the agenda on the April 9th meeting. But you'll have a complete data package that'll support what we can do as a city to enhance our position. So I just want to make everybody aware that it's coming up. And anybody else got anything? If not, sir.
After you adjourn, if anybody cares to stay for a couple of minutes, I'd like to give an update on Freedom Tech Center.
We'd love to have an update on Freedom Tech Center, but to be legal, I'll go ahead and adjourn us, and we'll stay to hear your thing. We're adjourned.
Wait, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor.
Be in the meeting and let him present.
Okay. Okay. I reopen the meeting.
Just don't want to shut you down in case someone wants to.
Mr. Odom, I'd love to have your presentation.
Well, I actually came tonight because I thought I was on the agenda, but I screwed up. I'm on April 9th, I'm sorry about that. But we're making tremendous headway at Freedom Tech Center, which is out by the courthouse. We'll be opening the Home 2 Suites the first week of May. We will, a little later on, have a big grand opening and everybody will be invited, but we got to get open and get it running first. The Holiday Inn Express will open in August. Our first 60 units of the apartment complex will be ready for occupancy with the clubhouse finished in June. Then the rest, there's 312 apartments, the rest of those will come on throughout all the way until May of next year before they're all done. So we're making good progress. We have a 50,000 square foot build-to-suit for a defense contractor office building that we're working on the plans for right now. We also have not done yet, we have a very good prospect for a large daycare that caters to the military. So a lot of good things going on. But this is a picture of our, and I'll turn it around where others can see it, but this is our lawn in the middle, and we are going to have a stage at the south end. We have enough room to have pretty good size public events, and so we're really excited about as this comes together, we get the park built and the stage in place. We'll have a giant screen LED TV in the back of the stage that'll run, and we'll be able to play SEC football or basketball or local high school football or whatever on that screen. So we're really excited about that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Jay, you didn't mention your 200-foot flagpole there.
Yeah, we have approval for our 200-foot flagpole. The flag is 70 by 110. It's compared to the one we did at Uptown, it's full order of magnitude bigger. We've been waiting, we have it all designed and ready. We're ordering from a company in Texas. The price of steel last year was so high, we've been holding off a little bit to order it, and the price of steel is coming down, so we'll order it pretty soon.
Will it be the tallest in the state of Florida?
Well, it's 200 feet tall. It will be the tallest, but now we're going to be tied with the Harley-Davidson dealership in Clearwater. They just announced that they put up a 200-foot tall one. So maybe I'll put a little mannequin on top of it. This is the overall site plan. Lewis Turner's here. Home 2 Suites is in front. Holiday Inn Express. The build-to-suit office building we're working on is here. Apartments in the rear. Of course, the courthouse is right over here. I know the county has purchased the ball field or the
Fairgrounds.
Fairgrounds. And we haven't started yet, but we want to get involved with them on seeing what they're going to do and see if we can help with whatever improvements they're going to make over there. One thing we have done is our Home 2 Suites is FEMA certified. It has a 1 megawatt generator that will run the entire hotel. So we're seeing it as the hotels are concrete. So in the event of a hurricane issue, this will be a place that people can go and get out of dangerous areas and be safe and have power. So just a lot of really exciting things that it's come together. So we're really excited about it. This is the picture of the Home home, 2 suites. It's the right building, colors have changed a little bit, it's not quite, it's more of a black and a gray. And this is the Holiday Inn Express. Holiday Inn Express is 115 rooms, the home 2 suites, 126 rooms, with 5,000 feet of meeting space.
Were there going to be some other, more apartments other than what you showed us?
No, that's 312 units of apartments.
300, okay.
Yeah, the apartments sit on 22 acres, it's pretty big.
Oh, okay.
But that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Odom. We really appreciate your presentation.
I love being in the city of Fort Walton Beach. I work in a lot of jurisdictions, and y'all are on top of your game, better than some other ones.
We're happy to have you in the city of Fort Walton Beach.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And now we are